So the important context here is Admin Preach recently reacted to a video from Casey Redbeard called Why I Like Dating Teenage Women as a 36-year-old Man. I know what you're thinking, this is some pedo shit, but that's not actually what this has to do with. It has to do with whether as an older guy like 35, 40, 45, you should be dating women who are in their early 20s or even 18, 19, whether it's a good idea or not. So you're gonna hear both arguments. I'm gonna try to be as objective as possible, give you guys the truth. Important disclaimer, while I generally agree with Admin Preach in real life, I don't know them or have any kind of personal relationship with them. Casey Redbeard, it is the opposite. I do know him in real life. He's been on my channel, I've been on his channel, but I disagree with a lot of his takes. Not all of them, but some of the hardcore red pill ones I definitely disagree with. So he's going to be coming at it from a very red pill perspective. So again, I'm going to try to be as unbiased as possible and give you guys the real scoop. Let's get into it.
It's going to be a weird one. Title of this video. It's not me saying this. Why I like dating teenagers as a 36-year-old man. Some people just like...
So just the quick context here, because I know this guy's, what he's doing here is trying to be clickbaity. Whether that's a good idea or not, I think probably not. But what he means is 19 and 20-year-old girls, 18-year-old girls, stuff like that. But you'll see as the video continues.
Reporting. I'm sure it's because
Subway, eat fresh.
I'm at the point now where I'm seriously only considering dating actual teenagers, 18 and 19 years old, because women do not come pre-assembled. This is a quote from my good friend, client, and now business partner, Myron Gaines.
No, Casey, don't bring up Myron. No, it is a true thing. This is interesting because I'm really good friends with Casey. I'm friends with him. He's also friends with Fresh and Fit. So it is an interesting type of dynamic.
We're good.
Again! You fucking idiot!
Yo, I didn't think a Fresh and Fit reference gonna come in the first 10 seconds.
We're good.
Hey man, you are the company you keep.
What he means by that and what I mean by that is that by the time a woman turns 22, 23, 27, sometimes even by the time they're 20 years old or even younger, they have acquired so many bad habits, so many negative behavior patterns, so many crazy and wrong and harmful opinions and points of view that it is actually quite staggering how many bad habits needs to be worked out of them, that sometimes it's too late for them.
Pause.
So to quickly respond to that, he's coming at it from the train a bitch perspective, like I'm gonna have to mold the girl that I want. But I actually think this is very silly and also inefficient, right? You wanna be going for girls that already have the values you want. They already have the habits that you like, right? Now, obviously there's gonna be a little bit of like, kind of meeting in the middle, and you might kind of evolve with the person together, but you do not. You do not want to be going for girls that have habits and values that you don't like. At the end of the day, people don't really change unless they really, really want to, and most people don't want to change. And this is going to always lead to disaster. It may seem like the build-a-bitch girls are making progress, but eventually they always revert back to their old ways. So look for someone who already meshes with you, not someone that you have to train.
So at that age, they are so arrogant with their knowledge, the little knowledge that they know, that they think they really got it. And you got to argue with them, thinking that they know life. You know how I know? I was a teenager as well.
It's interesting too, because you guys talk about like, oh, they develop so many bad habits, all this other stuff. And then you look at the guys who say this goofy ass shit, and they're some of the most dysfunctional, emotional.
Welcome to the multiverse.
Yeah, it's just like, what, you were the one who were going to tell her? The guy you're taking cues from is just yelling at women, dropping hard NERs all the time, always emotional, constantly harassing people on social media all day, can't keep his shit together.
Again!
And I was like, why are you, as a 36-year-old man who's more hormonal than a menopausal woman, okay, going to dictate to a young 18-year-old how to live life and be a decent person? Most of y'all are...
Yeah, and they're coming at it from a build-a-bitch perspective, which I think is a very ineffective paradigm.
Embarrassing to be around. Why are you guys trying to give cues to others? I don't get it.
Hence, if you date an 18, 19, 20-year-old girl, then they can be saved. Now, when my good friend Myron Gaines says women do not come pre-assembled, he means they're not a finished and complete product outside the box. They need the guidance of a man to kind of push away these bad habits that they may be acquiring from.
Yeah, this I just fundamentally disagree with. There's some women who are great. You don't have to train them or do anything, right? Women typically learn from their parents and people who, their social circle and stuff like that when they're younger in life. Really, a lot of it comes down to her parents, right? Some women are raised really, really well, right? And they're amazing and they have great values, and you don't have to do any type of training, right? You want to focus on looking for those girls and avoid any of the girls that you're going to have to, kind of change their life or whatever. Again, you don't want to be a savior, right? That never works.
Mainstream media, certainly from universities and college campuses, feminism, movies, pop culture, etc., is actually quite staggering, and that's why I'm considering dating younger girls, because they tend to be more of like a blank slate, and very feminine women, if they're dating a guy who has a strong masculine frame, they tend to just kind of absorb his points of view and his ways of thinking and his value system, and truly feminine and naturally submissive women kind of mold themselves. I've done a lot of research recently on Myron Gaines, my good friend. I've watched some of his videos. I've been a little bit on a binge, and this is going to be a combination of research that I've done on exactly elaborating on that statement, why women don't come pre-assembled. This is also a list of red flags and things you need to look out for with girls you're dating, and like I said, with younger girls, hopefully you can get them before they've adopted these negative behavior patterns or made some of these mistakes.
Women don't come pre-assembled. Nobody comes pre-assembled. It's called your 20s, you fucking
I love them.
Like, who is who they were at 20, at 30?
I hope the fuck not.
Every guy I know changes. Unless you're a red pill dork, you're still living in high school and trying to overcome your fucking trauma.
I also want to mention that some people improve as they get older, right? There's some women who are in their 20s, might have some issues, and then when they get in their 30s, I personally know women like that. They kind of work on some of their issues, and they're a much better person to be in a relationship with. So it also goes the opposite way. It doesn't always go down. Sometimes it goes up. For most people, it stays about the same.
Everybody changes. It's so funny to me because you get to your 30s and these guys are still obsessing over being able to smash and sleep with women left, right, and center. It's like, bro, most of the guys I know who start hitting their mid-30s and going, they think about family, settling down. They don't want to sleep around. You evolve. You guys don't come pre-assembled either.
No, none of us. You don't come out your you didn't come out your mom's boom like fucking whore. You didn't do that. You didn't. Nobody did. Okay.
That was a crazy rendition of a newborn baby, bro. That was wild.
But that's how I see that they like that. That
good.
That would be a pre-assembled Myron coming out of his mom. You know what I mean?
He was just a dork in high school.
Yeah.
And then he kept quiet all those years. And then once he got a podcast, he likes to get loud.
Yes.
With women only.
Yes.
Never with men.
No.
Because that's manly and alpha.
Exactly.
He yell at ladies all the time.
As a side note, it is very interesting to watch how different Myron is around men than he is with women. Like with men, he's just so much more respectful. He's like, yeah, man, I understand your perspective, but I disagree with that. With a woman saying the same thing, he'd be like, shut the fuck up, you dumb bitch. It's crazy to watch that difference.
Lead them, you gotta lead them. You're a leader. You have to lead.
And when your words don't work, just raise your pitch.
Yes. Not your arguments, the pitch.
The louder one is always correct.
Like the Chihuahuas.
There you go.
Now, this video is about Myron. It's about, his quote, women don't come pre-assembled. You see on the show all the time when they ask, so, men will provide financial support, protection, leadership in the relationship, mentorship, guidance. What do you provide? They're like, well, I'll provide that stuff too. And it's like, no, bitch.
No, this is just such a bad take from the red pillars. Yeah, I'm not faulting Casey for this because I think he just takes a lot of the red pill values. But no, you don't want to be providing financial assistance. That takes you from a boyfriend and puts you into a sugar daddy type of role. And in the minute she meets a guy who has more financial assistance that you can give her, she's going to go to that guy. That is not ever what you want to base your relationship on. I've been with my girlfriend for 5 fucking years, right? Very, very long time. And I do not give her any financial assistance because the simple truth of it is I'm not going to date a broke girl. Now look, if we were to have a kid and she stayed home with a kid, that would be one thing. Obviously, of course, I would contribute to make sure that she can raise the kid really, really well. But aside from that, you're not going to be wanting giving any financial assistance or anything like that. Again, like I don't know how the red pillars don't realize that this attracts the worst type of girls. All the girls that you don't want, this is going to attract.
It's like, we don't care about your money. We don't care about your career. We want you to be compliant, feminine, submissive, do what the fuck we say. I mean, within reason, right? This can be clipped and taken the wrong way, but fuck you, go ahead and clip and take it wrong, give a fuck. But, at least for me, I want my woman to think, have her own mind, have her own opinions and stuff like that. I don't want like a full, robot, droid. But, her job is, the family.
You want her to think, you want her to have her own mind, but then you also want to be...
I don't know why they say this though, because a lot of them don't actually want a family, or they don't want a family in the West. Like, it's like, you want to just bang chicks, you want to have a fuck buddy, right? Like, why does the family even matter when it comes to that type of girl?
Able to mold her values and mold... these guys just double speak, man. They say one thing out one side of the mouth, the other one says the different thing, and then they want you to be able to always have plausible deniability. But shut up. You want an 18-year-old because you want her to think exactly the way that you like. You want her to have the exact values that you want. You don't want her to be her own person. Why are you saying that? These guys are just so weird. And they say like, yo, we don't care about your job. You don't care about her job because you have enough money to not care about her job.
If
most guys got to care about their partner's job because in this economy, you can't afford to take care of a family.
And look, just to kind of piggyback off that, like I have enough money to theoretically take care of a girl, obviously I can't offer her like fucking Lamborghinis, but I could theoretically do it. I don't want to. I prefer a woman who has her own money, has her own career. Look, she doesn't have to make a shitload of money, but I've never dated a girl like in a serious relationship who just didn't have a job, who's just a flat out brokey, right? Because again, what do you have to do in those situations, right? You're gonna have to pay for her fucking shit, and you don't want to do that.
All that stuff for most guys, and her not having a job. Yeah, we care. We care that you're able to contribute.
You know what?
Most guys care.
You know what? I got money. My girl too. And that's great. I don't know what the fuck you weirdos are talking about. You guys don't live in real life. And as a matter of fact, talking like that, you haven't lived. Okay? You saying I'd rather date. You're not dating. It's not liable. I don't want kids. I want to have a partner. That's what we call it, a partner.
Yeah.
Life is already hard as it is right now. That's not real life. She got a job. That's great. That's fucking great. Shit, I want flowers too.
Here's my question.
Have you ever had flowers? I don't motherfucker ever brought you flowers? And the motherfucker never brought you flowers.
Here's my question. You guys are experts. Apparently. You guys know the answers.
Thank
so
you.
you're trying to teach people.
Yeah.
My question is, how come when I look at the red pill and I look at all the creators, all of them are in their mid-30s, 40s, 95% of them don't have kids. They haven't started families. They haven't married the 18-year-olds that they're talking about. But they just yap on about this fucking weird fantasy of theirs. Why is it that every woman...
Because they want to have a family, sort of, at the same time as they want to just bang a bunch of chicks. And usually those two things are not, cannot be combined together. They're semi-mutually exclusive, right? Sure, in theory, you could find one girl out of a million who's down to have kids with you while you fuck around, right? But typically, that's not how they approach it, right? They want to have the best of both worlds, and you kind of have to pick one. And they prefer fucking random girls, which there's nothing wrong with. But I don't see the point of them constantly talking about families when that's not even the primary thing that they're looking for.
Like, don't wait a woman who goes to the club. And then you look at Myron, his girlfriend be at the club. She be taking selfies. It's fine. I don't care. I don't think there's anything wrong with these things. But it's just like they're selling you guys, the viewers, a pipe dream. This whole like idea of an 18-year-old who's like physically in her prime, just right fresh off the like, you're not going to go to jail train, okay? Oh, I can get her now. Where are all these women that these guys are supposed to be marrying?
That's your question?
I'm asking the question.
That's your question?
Yeah. To me, you know what this is like? This is like someone telling me they're an investment trader, they're an expert at beating the market, and they're dirt poor. How are you selling me?
Look, he's got a point here. I think Casey actually does have a girlfriend, as far as I know. Don't quote me on that. But the vast majority of these red pill guys, they cannot maintain a relationship, right? And if they actually do have a relationship, which usually involves them giving girls money, you'll see that girls actually break a lot of the rules they have. I mean, we saw that in that Fresh and Fit episode, right, where they were talking about how, oh, if your girl has an Instagram where she's posting thoughty pics, then she's not relationship worthy. And then someone called out Fresh for, having Daisy post very thirst trap photos, and he was like, oh, it's different with me. Barbados.
Of course, but you can't use any of the information that supposedly is going to make me rich to make yourself rich.
Do you know what you call that?
And people will be like, well, it doesn't mean the advice is wrong. I'm not, it doesn't.
No, I mean,
but are you guys really going to pay for a course from somebody who can't use it for themselves to make money? Don't you find that weird?
Or just...
As I know the story, I'll make it really, really brief. I threw these amazing penthouse parties in Medellin. I referenced this early in the video. A bunch of feminists and fake reporters put fake news out there saying that, oh...
So apparently this guy used to run some kind of like Diddy-esque parties, allegedly.
No. He wasn't, I've never heard of a story of him fucking with an underage girl or anything like that. He had parties where he had girls over and, there's guys, it was like a regular party with just some hot Colombian girls. As far as I know, that was all.
And he's talking about this right now.
It's just a front. These are like sex parties. There's parties going on there. Most of the girls that go there are just prostitutes. I'm their pimp. The parties are just kind of a front for me to pimp these girls out to my gringo friends. And we've even had reports of, cases where a few underage girls have gone there. All lies, all bullshit. But point being is I had over like 200, 300 girls that over the course of the months have gone to my parties. If they had taken to Twitter, if they had the fucking dignity, confidence, self-respect, let me go down, let me burn this fake news rather than all 200, 300 of them get like the whole fake news all sorted on Twitter. If they had just like swarmed onto Twitter like a swarm of locusts saying, you guys are idiots, you bitches are just jealous, you're just fat, ugly feminists, you're just mad you weren't invited, there's no sex parties, there's no underage girl, whatever pimpery going on in this. 200 women had just like stood up for what was right, then it would have been nipped in the bud. It would have been, but of course, and I asked these girls, hey, will some of you guys like defend it? Like you guys know what's going on? Oh, my reputation, I can't be, I don't.
You can't expect a girl that you've hung out with a few times to put her whole reputation at stake. It'd be nice if a girl did that. Most of them are not going to do that. If you have a female friend, that's different. If you have a girlfriend, that's absolutely different. But that's just like a really big expectation set. Like most girls, that they've hung out with you 2 or 3 times, are not going to crash their social reputation or risk crashing it, just to help you out.
Get involved? What do you mean get involved? Just tell the truth.
Or maybe they don't defend you because maybe they think you're actually shady and a weirdo. I'll be honest with you. You're a 36-year-old man talking about you want to date 18, 19-year-olds. Would I be shocked if you dated 16, 15, 14-year-olds? No, not really.
Not really.
And if you think you want to get the benefit of the doubt from anybody...
I'm not a big fan of them saying shit like that because I think that they have really good arguments against dating 18, 19-year-old women, but they're kind of throwing it out there. They're not making a strong claim, but they are kind of hinting at the fact that this guy's a pedophile. There's absolutely no evidence of him being a pedophile. There's no proof. There's absolutely nothing in that realm, right? We can see that in the video, while that title does seem sus, as soon as you watch the video, he says 18, 19 years old. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of them taking that leap and going that far because this is not what this is about.
You're an idiot. Because I know damn well if you went to a country and it was legal to bang 16-year-olds, you would. Stop pretending like you won't. So it's one of them ones where this guy's just over here yapping about like, oh my God, why people don't want to defend you because you're fucking weird. You really titled this video, Why I Date Teenagers as a 36-year-old Man. You wonder why people don't want to defend you?
Because it's weird.
If Preach put out that video, I'm throwing him under the bus. You know what I'm saying? Good luck, nigga.
Nigga, you know what? If I put out that video, guess what's gonna happen?
Again, clickbait, probably not smart, right? But to make the claim that because of that he's gonna fuck a 16-year-old is just a massive, massive leap. So not a huge fan of Ab and Preach kind of going there.
I'm gonna throw myself out.
Yeah.
I don't even. You said that thing out loud. Like you edited that video, and you wrote the title of the video, and you said to yourself, yeah, yeah. You self-snitched on yourself. You did that. And then, people don't want to associate. Like, you said that out loud, and you didn't hear.
So now they're kind of strawmanning him. He didn't say that people don't want to associate with me. He was talking about specifically girls that he met a few times who went to his parties, don't want to put their social reputation at stake, and basically publicly say, like, oh, no, the guy that's being accused of shit is actually innocent, right? That's very different than no one wants to associate with him. I have no problem associating with Casey or whatever.
Self say that. I don't know what to tell you, my friend.
I don't know if you have any friends in your life. And if you do, they probably like pedo baits like you.
As if none of them told you that, it didn't tell you that.
And it just becomes more and more extreme. Like, this kind of stuff does make me lose a little bit of respect for Abin Preach. Like, his friends are now pedophiles. Like, what the actual fuck? You guys are speculating really, really hard right now.
It was a bad idea. Y'all would be on my, yo, what's that shit you're doing, man? Take that shit down. You crazy. I don't want to take it down. Well, somebody that I used to know. What the fuck is wrong with you?
You dorks are weird,
That's
bro.
crazy.
I can't believe that this is a real title for a video.
Yes. Willingly. Like, you did that.
You know, every time these guys say this goofy ass shit, I'm like, bro, you must be such a dull fucking person to be around. I could never imagine being an interesting person, and the first thought on my mind is like, I want to spend the rest of the next 2-3 years of my life talking to a teenager every day.
Yes.
Do you want to spend most of your days as a 36-year-old man who's lived a full life having conversations with a teenager? Because I've spoken to teenagers, and it is abysmal. It is so fucking bull.
Okay, let's just assume he's talking about 18, 19-year-old girls, or at least that's what Ab is talking about. He's not talking about, like, underage girls, which it could be, but I'm not sure. Look, I agree with this point, right? I've hooked up with 19-year-old girls or whatever, even in my, like, mid-30s, right? And, yeah, sex is good, you know, or sometimes it's good, but just we have nothing to talk about most of the time. They're just such different stages of their life. Like, they're going to clubs, they're pretty mature, while I'm like staying home and making fucking YouTube videos for you guys and fucking, you know, doing shit like that. Like, it's just, yeah, you're not gonna have as much in common with a 19-year-old girl as you would with a girl who's your age.
Right? And there's such a cultural gap. What am I gonna spend all day talking to an 18-year-old in a romantic context about life? You know, one of the best parts about being my age and dating people my age is, like, we have a lot of the same cultural references. And that's true for even friends. You know what me and Preach talk about hip hop is what, bro, when you and I talk about hip hop and just life in general, we talk about things we're like pre-internet, all that. When I talk to my friends about
it's another level.
Video games is a perfect example. When I talk to my friends about what it was like to grow up on the N64, what it was like to watch. Metal Gear Solid. Right.
All right, I'm not sure what the fuck is going on here, but that seems to be about the gist of the video. Maybe this is their post-video ritual. Overall, I think when it comes to the arguments they made against dating women significantly younger than you, then they're correct, right? I think those relationships are generally going to be disaster long-term. However, when it comes to the pedo claims that they hinted at and even made when it regards to Casey, I think those arguments were completely unsubstantiated. It was bad faith, and there was absolutely no evidence like that. And it's kind of bordering on a false allegation, even though they didn't directly say that Casey is a pedo, they heavily implied it, and I think that wasn't cool. All right, now let's make things even more interesting. So before making this video, I messaged Casey and I said, hey, you know, this is gonna be roughly what I'm gonna say, but I wanna give you a chance to present your side of the argument, so can you respond to the video Abin Preach made about you? And here's the voice memo he sent me. I have his permission to play it. We're just gonna kind of analyze it as we go along. Let's get into it.
I'll go through this real quick. They have nothing in common. I mean, it says you, bitch. Talking to Abin Preach there. What should I say? Like, a black man from the ghetto couldn't date a white girl from the suburbs because they'd have nothing in common. They'd have no shared experiences together. So the black man from the urban ghetto can't date the white girl from the suburbs. Like, I don't know. Maybe they connect. Like, human connection is.
What Abin Preach is saying is that it's a lot less likely that they're going to have something in common, right? And look, it's theoretically possible for a 20-year-old to have a lot in common with some 45-year-old. It's just extremely unlikely. That 45-year-old is much more likely to have things in common with a 40-year-old or a 35-year-old than a 20-year-old.
Based on, did you play N64 GoldenEye together and remember, you know, when Michael Jackson died out of this blue in 2009? Oh, you were only 5 years old. Like, I don't know. This doesn't matter. Like, it says you. That's a weird judgment to make. Remember,
he is correct that human connection is much more complex than just like, hey, we know this about the past and we can bond over it, right? But there's other factors that are not being mentioned here. Like, for example, maturity, right? A girl who's 20 years old is most likely going to be a lot less mature than you, and that can cause issues in the relationship. It's stuff like that.
it's about power, not love. Listen, women are very much blank slates that are going to follow whatever their college professors tell them, CNN, their dad, their parents. If they're going to get some type of...
This is interesting. So he says CNN, college professors, and their dad. One of these is actually going to play a huge role. Men and women are both going to take a lot after their parents. But I think red pillers live in this reality where like every girl is like a hardcore leftist. In reality, like 40% of women voted for Trump, and that college campuses are just there to indoctrinate you, that like they're basically trying to make you as far left as possible. I personally went to a very liberal school, Boston University, and there was none of that at all. Like whatever subject I went to, marketing, archaeology, they taught us that. They didn't didn't teach us anything even remotely related to like trying to change our viewpoint on politics.
We call it brainwashing, manipulation. It might as well be from me. I've done a lot better than, Dawn Lemon or her feminist, effeminate, faggot college professor trying to ram some propaganda down her throat. Better she gets my brainwashing.
Yeah, that's not common. That doesn't quite happen at like the vast majority of colleges. They're not trying to push propaganda down your throat. I'm sure it's happened a few times, right? But that's not a common thing.
Than somebody else's, right? I mean, someone's going to form her thoughts. Women are not rebellious enough to form their own thoughts, really. They just kind of go with the flow. What society says, it might as well be mine. His modes are creepy. He wants someone.
This applies to men and women. The vast majority of people just adopt their thoughts from things they hear, the podcasts they watch, the people they know. Very few people are critical thinkers. They're like doing their research and they're saying, okay, so on this belief, this is what the left says, this is what the right say. So both men and women learn a lot from other people, and no one's kind of excluded from this. Even I'm sure, take a lot from, the people who are around me, blah, blah, blah. Very few people actually doing their own research and stuff like that.
Fresh, yeah. They're all saying, I want someone that's, I'm looking for a servant more than a girlfriend or this and that. I do believe that the woman's role is to be submissive in a way. I mean, I say in the video multiple times, I treat all my women like a princess. I'm always a gentleman. Whenever, I lead the relationship, but I take all their feelings and considerations into the decision-making process, and they basically get spoiled, along the whole way. But yeah, I mean,
from what I know about Casey, this seems accurate, that he is a gentleman, generally speaking, when it comes to dating. Again, I don't know him super well, but that's just my impression. However, I don't like the whole part about spoiling them or treating them like a princess. I think that stuff just backfires in the long run.
At the end of the day, the woman's role is the submissive. She's the backbone of the relationship. That says he contradicts himself. He claims he wants a partner with independent thoughts, but also wants to mold her values. Listen, smart girls, I like high IQ, right? The issue is when girls get to a certain age, no matter how their IQ is, they will believe whatever they've been told to believe. And, I like a girl that can, if I want to talk.
He is correct. People become more stubborn as they get older, but he's completely wrong about the fact that, he's going to be more likely to have a very intellectual conversation with an 18-year-old than like a girl who's his age, okay? Actually, I think girls become more independent as they get older. When they're 18, 19-year-olds, they just believe whatever social media tells them, whatever their dad told them, whatever their friends tell them. I think when women get a bit older, men and women, they start kind of, coming into their own and they start questioning things more. So, yeah.
About something interesting. It could be anything. Something about physics, something about universe, other dimensions, or a high-level, witty, kind of like a British sense of humor, something that's like very subtle. I want her to get that. That's intelligence. But I also do like them to be a little bit more innocent and not already have all the, men are all bad and whatever. There's 1,500 genders and this and that.
Again, this is just another red pill, I guess, fantasy. They think that like the majority of women I think there's 1,500 genders. No, they don't. The vast majority of women will say, yeah, there are 2 genders, or that, that they're going to be, hating men. Again, that's a very small percentage of women, right? Like they probably look at podcasts like Fresh and Fit or whatever, and they see like, oh, there's a lot of angry feminists on there, right? So that must be what the average girl's like. But that's not the case. There's a massive sample bias when it comes to these podcasts.
He's clueless. Yeah. Okay, basically, yeah, I lack self. I don't know. Obviously, I do this for views, and the whole thing about, whatever. That last part is, as a content creator, you can say this too, like, this as a content creator, and you can say that I said this too. You have 2 choices. You give the squeaky clean, super helpful version, and you get 10 views, or you make a title that's bizarre and
He is correct about this. As a content creator, you do get rewarded by making controversial content. And I have absolutely no reason to not believe that the reason he made that, let's say, provocative title of like I Date Teenagers is because he thought that it was going to get controversy, it was going to get more views. Would I think that's a good idea? No, probably not. Right, but he's right that you get rewarded for doing clickbait type of stuff. Now, personally, going that controversial is not my cup of tea, though. All right, hope you guys found this video valuable, and if you're enjoying this type of content, make sure you subscribe to my channel and get my free Tinder ebook. Link is going to be in the description. It's going to show you how to get those hot 18-year-old girls. Just kidding, or am I? Anyway, make sure you get that. Link is going to be in the description. Best of all, it's free. Thank you guys for watching, and until next time.